I was out on a walk one afternoon. I was going down to my local pharmacy store to read some magazines and maybe buy a snack. Yet, on my way there, I noticed a garage sale. I didn't normally care about things like that, but I figured I could spare a minute or two and look around. Who knows, I might find something cool. And as fate would have it, I did. I noticed an old Looney Tunes DVD. The case was rather old and worn. Some of the characters' faces seemed to have been ripped off, and probably from some little kid or something. I used to love these things as a kid. I especially loved Wile E. Coyote. Plus it said it had a special lost episode. Lost episode, I thought. Never heard anything about one of those. Yet, when I went to buy it, the owner said, "You don't want that DVD, dude." "Why not?" I asked. "That lost episode is..." He stopped talking, as if in a trance, haunted by some horrible nightmare. I didn't really care. I mean, if it was bad, so be it. I still got plenty of other episodes to watch on it. In the end, I bought it from the guy anyway. He shook his head and frowned as I left. Jeez, I said to myself. How bad can it really be? Later that night, I decided to watch the DVD. The rest of my family had gone to bed already. My brother and sister had to go to school early tomorrow. My mom had a tough day at work, and basically crashed on her bed when she got home. And my dad usually goes to work around 5 a.m. And so it was just me, myself, and I watching some good old Looney Tunes. I put it in the player, and soon enough, the main menu came up with all the options. Looked cute enough. It had Bugs in the center munching on a carrot, Wiley and Roadrunner in the background on one side, and Sylvester and Tweety on the other. And occasionally Daffy popped up every once in a while, trying to get on the screen. Yet when he finally does, Elmer Fudd shoots him with his gun. I noticed the lost episode had a section just for itself, and I remembered how freaked out the guy was. Curious, I selected it. How terrible could it be? I remember thinking once again. The episode starts off as normal. The WB signs zoom up, followed by the iconic music. Then the title of the episode comes up. I Got 'Em All. I found that title a bit odd, but whatever. The title faded away. And I was shown Wile E. Coyote, yet he wasn't running after the Roadrunner. In fact, I didn't even hear a meep meep. Also, those goofy scientific Latin names they put under he and Wiley didn't show up. Yet the most unusual thing was that it was nighttime in the desert. No Wile E. Coyote cartoon was ever shown with it being at night. Wiley just stood there, looking at the camera, with a really sad and serious look on his face. No music plays. There was an orange glow coming from the left of him. I could hear what sounds like a fire near him off screen. He just stood there, looking at the camera, looking at me, for about 15 seconds. Then he turned his head near the off-screen fire. The camera stays on him, so I can't tell what he's looking at. He looks back at me, then he holds up a sign that reads, "You laughed at me." I didn't get where this was going. Then he talks. Rarely does Wiley ever talk, unless he's with Bugs. "You all said it couldn't be done," Wiley says, "but I can't catch him. That destiny dictates that shall not be." I lifted an eyebrow, still wondering where this was going. And Wiley walks off screen. When he's totally gone, I hear something wet and squishy along the fire. Wiley walks back and looks at me once more, then lifts his hand. I gasp at what's in it. The Roadrunner's head. Wiley laughs and proceeds to bite into the bird's decapitated skull. As he does this, the scene flashes to Wiley, silhouetted by a full moon as he runs through the desert night. Back to Wiley and Roadrunner's head for a moment. Then back to Wiley, so only a shadowed outline of him. Then I see the Roadrunner, sleeping in a nest. Wiley walks towards him. Back to Wiley, who'd taken another bite out of the Roadrunner's head, blood dripping out of it. Back to the Coyote, creeping to the nest. He now stands right behind the sleeping bird. I've now seen Wiley's feet. Blood drips down near them, as the sound of him eating the head is heard. Again, we return to Wiley and the nest. Wiley now holds what looks like a large knife. No way. I remember just before it happened. Wiley jams the knife right into the Roadrunner's head. the blade coming out of the front and piercing one of his eyes. For a brief moment, the Roadrunner twitches, then his body goes limp. Wile pulls out the knife by ripping it out of the top of the Roadrunner's head, followed by chopping off his neck. It returns to Wile in the head, still looking at me. He tosses the head away and smiles. I was making a freaked out face, terrified and surprised at what I just saw. Surprised, I see, Coyote said. Well, what about this? Wile reaches for the side of the screen, and moves the camera over to where the fire is, only to reveal the rest of the Looney Tunes charter heads on poles. He walks over to the first one, Porky Pig. And just then, the scene goes to an image of Porky's body on the floor, being cut open, and his internal organs being ripped out by Wile's hands. Next to Sylvester, all we can see in his scene is his decapitated head in a toilet, floating in the blood and water in it. Elmer Fudd, only his head is on the pole. The scene goes to him with a shotgun in his mouth. Then his head exploded in a bloody, brainy mess. That's what I assume was Wile firing it. Sam shot with his pistols. Foghorn skinned alive. The dog? That dog in the Foghorn cartoons. Chainsawed to bits. I felt like I wanted to vomit with each new character being introduced, followed by how they died. Soon enough he came to Bugs. Bugs still had his whole body, yet he was impaled on a much larger pole, his body still twitching, its tip coming out of his mouth. The camera moves to the side of his head. His eyes look at me. He tries to mutter something, yet can't. Wile then gets the knife and cuts off one of Bugs' ears. Please, no more, I managed to say. I don't know how I made it this far without turning it off. You want me to stop, huh? Wile said. That sent shivers down my spine. Could he hear me? Could he see me? Wile goes to stab Bugs in the bottom of the spine, then lead his blade up to his neck. Blood gushes out of the new wound. I can't take it. I stopped the DVD, took it out, and broke it. Stay lost, you fucking piece of shit! I said as I tossed it away. I didn't watch the Looney Tunes for 2 months after I saw that. I was too afraid that episode would appear. I still am. I tried looking it up on YouTube, yet that, and no other site, for that matter, has it. I just pray no one else has a copy of this DVD. Whatever you do, don't watch the lost episode.